To the presentation, The Just Life, Understanding the Sikh Faith, presented by Dr. Natasha Sodhi. We will begin shortly. Sat Sri Akal, and welcome to The Just Life, Understanding the Sikh Faith. This is the third program of our four-part series in conjunction with our Punjab exhibit, Land of Five Rivers, and the Rochester Public Library. A big thank you to the Rochester Public Library, India Community Center, and the Luthra India Heritage Center for coordinating this wonderful exhibit. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Natasha Sodhi. Dr. Natasha Sodhi is a family and lifestyle medicine physician at Rochester Regional Health. She is a member of the India Heritage Museum Committee, the Board of Trustees for the Gurudwara of Rochester, and the Rochester Interfaith Network Alive.
Sometimes people ask me where I'm from. Well, I come from a place where you can dunk a basketball, treat patients, sing on American Idol, be a Boy Scout, fly a plane, raise a family, ride a Harley, and serve the community. For over 125 years, Sikhs have been part of the American culture. My name is Waris, and I'm proud to be an American.
So, Sat Sri Akal. Thank you for making time and creating space to learn about Punjab. We are here at the Rochester Central Library for our Punjab exhibit. Today, I'm going to discuss the tenets and traditions of the Sikh faith, but as you will see, these values are shared by many faiths and belief systems and truly reflect our collective humanity. Here in this picture, you will see Sikhs of all ages with different approaches, different appearances, but a common commitment to truth, equality, social justice, and selfless service. Sikhs are followers of the religion called Sikhism, or more traditionally Sikhi. In the Punjabi language, the word Sikh means student or disciple, and you may hear people use the word Sikh pronounced as Sikh or as Sikh, and both are acceptable, although the correct pronunciation is Sikh. And just a reminder to everybody to just mute your mics if you could. The most revered spiritual site for Sikhs is Sri Harmandir Sahib, also known as the Golden Temple, and it is located in the holy city of Amritsar. And here is a very short video to just give you an appreciation of how stunning and beautiful the Golden Temple is. And here's a close-up of the Golden Temple. The architecture and location symbolize the faith's values. Its placement on water reflects the connection between the spiritual and temporal realms. The building sits lower than the surrounding land level to signify the egalitarianism and humility that is part of our faith. The four entrances of the Harmandir Sahib represent the four cardinal directions and the openness of the Sikhs towards all people and all religions. Surrounding the Golden Temple are other buildings of historical significance, including the Akal Takht, the highest seat of religious justice for Sikhs. Here we have a few pictures to give you an idea of the beautiful architecture. We have the Akal Takht in Amritsar on the left. In the middle is the beautiful Gurdwara Bangla Sahib in New Delhi with its golden domes. And on the right is Hazur Sahib in the state of Maharashtra. And this Gurdwara was built in the 1800s by the famous Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And for sake of time, I'm just going to give you a tiny glimpse of the Golden Temple at night, and we will certainly share this link for you to watch in its entirety at another time. let's move on to the Sikh diaspora. Most Sikhs live in India, 28 million of the 30 million followers, and Sikhs have migrated all over the world with large populations in various countries, 500,000 in the US, 650,000 in Canada, and 450,000 in the UK. You will also find Sikhs living in Southeast Asia and East Africa. Here in the US, Sikhs have been practicing for over 125 years, and most US followers live in New York State, as well as New Jersey and California. Sikhs have made many contributions to American life as laborers, farmers, soldiers, attorneys, doctors, researchers, explorers, politicians, and more. And they played a key role in advancing science, medicine, and space exploration, strengthening the economy through entrepreneurship, furthering the workings of our democratic government, producing food for our state and our nation, and celebrating the beauty of life through arts. I'd like to just touch a little bit upon Sikh beliefs. For a Sikh, our teacher or spiritual guide is our guru. Gu means darkness and Ru means light, so you can also interpret that as ignorance and enlightenment. So a guru is someone who brings a Sikh from the dark to the light, or from spiritual ignorance to spiritual enlightenment. There were 10 gurus who lived between 1469 and 1708, with Guru Nanak Dev Ji as our founder. And the 10th and final guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, is known as the saint soldier for his spiritual enlightenment and commitment to fight against oppression. He is also the one who created our identity known as Khalsa, which I'll touch upon in a little bit. He purposefully did not choose a successor, but instead gave the eternal guruship to the Guru Granth Sahib, which you see in this picture above, which are our Sikh sacred scripture compiled by the gurus during their lifetimes, and it's our revered living eternal guru. It has 1,430 pages filled with not only the writings of the gurus, but poetry from Hindu and Muslim saints, with many contributions by the famous mystic Saint Kabir. Also, the Guru Granth Sahib contains musical frameworks called rags, allowing for the scriptures to be sung as hymns, or otherwise known as shabads. Sikhs believe in the concept of one God, the creator who loves and sustains the whole of humanity. We believe that everyone is equal in the eyes of God, regardless of gender, ethnicity, race. As Sikhs, we believe in living an honest and truthful life, striving for social justice and selfless service, or seva. And seva is an important guiding principle that is displayed in many forms, whether it be offering free meals at the Gurdwara, aiding communities in need, or offering seva during disaster relief efforts across the world. In 1699, the identity of the Sikh, known as the Khalsa, was created, and this was one of the most important days of our history and is celebrated every April. All Sikh women were given the last name Kaur, K-A-U-R, and men were given the name Singh, S-I-N-G-H, to represent the importance of equality. Today, you may find that some women and men either keep those names as their middle or as their last name. Our visible identity is also connected with the 5 articles of faith, and these really surfaced during a time when Sikhs were oppressed during our history. The 5 articles are also known as the 5 Ks. Kesh is uncut hair and represents spirituality and an acceptance of God's will. Gara is a bracelet generally made of iron or steel and is worn as a reminder to do good deeds, with the circular shape of no beginning or end, representing an unbreakable commitment to God. Ganga is a comb to keep our uncut hair tidy. Kirpan means kindness and righteousness. It resembles a small sword and historically was carried for self-defense or the protection of others. And the kachera was historically worn as a reminder to be ready at all times for a battle or defense. It's important to remember that many Sikhs uphold the values of our religion, but do not necessarily carry all 5 articles of faith, and it is a choice that is made by men and women both. Turbans are one way that the Sikhs are recognizable and distinct, called the dastar. The turban represents the Sikh commitment to maintaining the values and ethics of compassion, integrity, and service to others. Today, many Sikhs do choose to continue the tradition of keeping their hair uncut, wearing a turban with pride. Boys wear a patka, which is a strip of fabric worn tight around the head with the knotted top under which the hair is gathered. And men wear pagri, another name for turban, which is a fuller turban formed by a 5-yard strip of cloth that typically forms a V above the forehead. Some women wear turbans, or they might wear scarves called the chunni. 99% of people you see wearing a turban in America are Sikhs, and these turbans do differ in style from those worn by Muslims, which has led to some discrimination against Sikhs when those are unfamiliar with the distinction. It is vital that we respect the Sikhs who do wear a turban, as it is a tradition that is connected with the peace of our faith and focuses on truth, honesty, social justice, and commitment to others. When you see somebody wearing a Sikh turban, know that that person will help you should you be in need. And here in the exhibit, we will be showing you shortly our showcase of 2 turbans, including one that is decorated for a Sikh groom. Here is a picture of different styles of turban. Though there are round styles, like the man in the red and white striped turban. And then there is a more pointed turban, like the gentleman on the bottom right. The boys in the center at the top are wearing the smaller head covering called a patka. And women can wear turbans as well, just like the women that you see here. The Gurdwara is where the Sikh community gathers for prayer, service, and to learn from each other. The Gurdwara is the home of the Guru Granth Sahib, our eternal Guru and sacred scripture. The service, it consists of reading and singing from the sacred scriptures. There is no clergy, as each person is considered capable of experiencing the Creator. Anyone from the congregation may lead religious services. The Sikh faith rejects polytheism, idol worship, superstitions, fasting, the caste system, and blind rituals. No one particular day or time is considered more holy than any other. Everyone is welcome to visit a Gurdwara. It does not matter what your background is, what your faith is, or what language you speak. The Gurdwara is open to everyone. Many people come to the Gurdwara in America on weekends typically, and it is also a place where you can seek shelter, comfort, and food. And I would like to extend an invitation to all of you on behalf of the Gurdwara Rochester in Penfield, New York, to come and visit us anytime if you wanted to learn more about the Sikh faith. Ik Onkar is the opening verse of the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh scripture, and it means there is only one creator. The khanda, which is the symbol on the right, represents the harmony between the outer life and the inner life. It emphasizes that a Sikh has both spiritual obligations as well as obligations to society. The Nishan Sahib is a saffron-colored flag with the khanda symbol. It flies above every Gurdwara and is a beacon of refuge and hope. After services, everyone sits on the floor in the spirit of equality, and together we eat a community meal called langar. It is prepared and served by volunteers from the community. And here you can see one of the volunteers serving either a vegetable dish known as sabji or lentils known as dal from the steel bucket. Sikh migration to the North America began in the late 1800s. And so I think it's important for us to recognize the presence of Sikhs in American history. Initially, Sikhs moved to the West Coast and later to New York. And they share the same basic American values of equality, religious freedom, and justice for all. In the top left corner, you can see Sikh farmers who found that the land and weather conditions in California were similar to those in Punjab. The largest peach, raisin, okra, and pistachio farms are owned by Sikh Americans. Sikhs also helped build the railroads that connect the East and West Coast. In the top right, we have the Stockton Gurdwara, founded in 1912 as the first Sikh house of worship in the US. And in the bottom left, we have Californian Dalip Singh Sandh, seen here with President John F. Kennedy and former President Lyndon B. Johnson. And Sandh was the first Sikh American to be elected to the House of Representatives. And in the bottom right, we have Bhagat Singh Thind, who enlisted in the US Army, fought in the World War I. He later gained citizenship, but this was rescinded because of his non-Caucasian status, but a decade later, he was able to regain it. In the next couple of slides, I just want to give you an appreciation of how Sikhs have contributed to various disciplines and professions, and really have been committed to offering and contributing to society. And now I want to introduce you to Valerie Kaur, who recently published a book called See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love, inspiring others to heal within themselves and transform the world around us. And here is Captain Harpreet Kaur Chandi, a 32-year-old Indian origin British Sikh American officer who is also known as Polar Preet. And she created history just last month by becoming the first woman of color to complete a solo, unsupported trek to the South Pole. She announced her history-making feat after I believe it was 40 days of traveling, 700 miles, while pulling a sled with all of her gear and battling minus 50-degree-Celsius temperatures and wind speeds of 60 miles per hour. Sikh bravery comes in many forms, and this is a great example of it. Dr. Kulsi is an emergency medicine physician who served 11 years in the US Army, including service in Afghanistan, where he saved hundreds of lives on the front lines. Earlier this week, he was sworn in as a member of the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, and he is the first turbaned officer in the US Army. And so, as we wrap up this segment of our program on understanding the Sikh faith and the Punjab exhibit, I just want to introduce you to Sunny Singh, who is a trumpet and dole player, a singer, an educator, an activist. And in this song, we're just going to play a short piece of it. You will hear the words Chardi Kala and Sat Sri Akal. And Chardi Kala is a practice, a vision, and a call to action for Sikhs. And it's often translated as the eternal optimism carried by Sikhs. But it's deeper than an individual's positive mindset. It's a collective, steadfast determination of Sikhs, a resilience, a yearning for justice, and the will to achieve it. Sat Sri Akal is the Sikh greeting in Punjabi. It too holds a deeper meaning. Sat means truth, Sri means great, Akal means timeless being or God. And so as we get ready to show you a few more beautiful things from the exhibit and invite our most incredible honorary guest as part of our program today, I would like to say Sat Sri Akal and thank you deeply for sharing space with me and all of us here at the exhibit today.
Thank you, Dr. Sodhi, for that wonderful presentation. Now I'd like to turn to our guest of honor, Senator Jeremy Cooney. Senator Cooney made history in 2020 as the first Asian elected to state office from upstate New York. He was adopted from an orphanage in Calcutta, India, raised by a single mother in the city of Rochester. And he is the first state senator to have learned the RCSD diploma in decades. Senator Cooney earned his BA with honors from Hobart College and his JD from Albany Law School. Senator Cooney's priorities for Rochester include poverty relief, job creation, downtown development, and increased funding for public schools. During his first year in office, Senator Cooney wrote over 50 legislative bills and served as the first chair of the New Cities 2 Committee. He was named co-chair of the Marijuana Task Force for the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislative Caucus, and was instrumental in passing the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act. After years of delays, Senator Cooney sponsored and strongly advocated for the final phase of the Rochester School Modernization Project, RSMP, which includes nearly $500 million to update learning environments for RSCD students. Now, we'd like to turn over to Senator Jeremy Cooney as we explore the Punjab Land of Five Rivers exhibit.
I am here with Senator Jeremy Cooney, and we are so grateful to have him here at the Rochester Central Library at the Punjab Land of Five Rivers exhibit that is on view till March the 5th, so we're in our final month. And today I would like to share with Senator Cooney all that is beautiful about Punjab, as well as India. And this is our starting point, Senator Cooney, where we kind of show where India is on the world map, the 5 rivers of Punjab, which is what Punjab means. Oh. And these 5 rivers actually span what is now known as Pakistan and India. And so now 2 rivers are in the Punjab, India, and 3 are in Pakistan. And here is a map of India itself with all the different cities and towns. And I thought you might be interested in having a closer look.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
And do you see a place of importance for you?
Well, I see my hometown, which is Kolkata right here in Bengali.
Right, right. So this just gives perspective that we all have a place in India. Yes. We've all come from somewhere. I come from this place up here called Chandigarh, and but we're all part of one.
Yes, absolutely.
Here we have the state of Punjab and showing all the different towns of Punjab. And then this is a progression of the evolution of Punjab historically from the time of British India through the 50s and into the 60s. And then if people want to learn more Punjab, they can learn all about the different areas, whether it be the towns, the nature, the cuisine. This is just like a snapshot view. So this is where it all begins. And we've got posters everywhere to help people understand, whether it be the history of Punjab or Chandigarh, fast facts. You can spend hours here, or you can come and spend half an hour, and still feel the spirit of Punjab.
And it's so easy to get here. We're right here at the Rundle Branch Library, right in downtown Rochester on South Avenue. So you literally just have to walk up a set of stairs and you're here, and there's a ramp. But it's so easy. You're on the first floor. So you don't have to go wandering around this big library to find this exhibit. It's in the most beautiful space. So if you haven't been here in a while, please come on down, because they've done a really terrific job of creating a very special space for all of us to learn about our culture and our history.
Thank you. Yes, I was astounded when I came here because I hadn't been here in so long, and it really is majestic.
It is.
So it's really a beautiful journey through Punjab when we go down here. Here we're honoring Kalpana Chawla, who perished while serving as an astronaut for our country. And she also hails from Punjab. And so we wanted to recognize her and her sacrifices for America. And
wow.
here is a great example of fulkari, which is the traditional folk embroidery of Punjab. Ful means flower and kari means work. And these are some pillowcases, but all through the exhibit, you will see hanging tapestries,
Yes.
which have come from our various villages, and some are 70, 80 years old.
Wow.
And these are typically sewn by hand with silk thread. And it used to be, it is the traditional embroidery of Punjab, and there was a fear of it being lost due to machinery and whatnot. But now there's been a revitalization of this very important craft. And in the QR codes that we're going to be sending to everybody, there is a little lovely BBC clip to learn
nice.
more.
Yeah.
So here we have some women, some young girls carrying on the tradition of fulkari, and fulkaris can be used as household, coverings or in suits or chunnis. And really it is a very, very typical Punjabi.
Beautiful. Are there any types of colors that are used in fulkari that is more common than others?
So we love color. Punjabis are full of life and full of energy. And I think that is, depicted in the colors that we wear often. But I think you will see often, the beautiful pinks and greens and reds and purples. Those are some of the colors that you might see. And when you have your turban tied in just a little bit, we are going to use some fulkaris as a backdrop.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Great.
We have a beautiful showcase of handicrafts, which are wonderful items depicting shoes and metalwork and fans.
Beautiful.
And it's really a lovely showcase to enjoy.
Even this beautiful ingrained, I'm assuming sandalwood
Yes.
type box is beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
And a couple of weeks ago, or back in January, we had a cuisine. There you are, Rohan. We have Rohan Vyas on video, and he's doing an awesome job as we do this all virtually and live.
Good job, Rohan.
So we had a beautiful virtual event from Tandoor, India, and Punjabi cuisine is very popular, very tasty. And we have popular items like butter chicken and also vegetarian items like dal and saag, makki di roti. These are things that are popular, and there are many restaurants in the city who offer.
And would you say that something like dal is something that is would be considered a regional dish for Punjabi, or is other places in India that would serve dal?
You're absolutely right. I think that dal is a dish made of lentils.
Right.
That all sorts of regions and cultures within India, which it's a country of cultures, really enjoy. They might make it slightly differently, maybe with little different spices.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It's kind of like that common, and it's comfort food.
Yeah, it's so good.
Comfort food, for sure. Do you have a favorite Indian
I was going to ask you, where's your favorite? But we'll both get in trouble if we say our favorite restaurant, because there's so many. But you probably make it yourself. That's probably the best.
I do make a lot of Indian food at home, so maybe it's my restaurant that's the most favorite
There
for
you
my
go.
kids.
Safe answer. Safe answer.
My kids like the aloo pranta, where you stuff the roti with potatoes.
Oh.
I'll make it for you sometime.
Okay, now we got this on live camera. All of our friends on Zoom have heard this, so I'm going to be going over to your house, Natasha.
So this is a really important showcase because Punjab is known as the breadbasket of India, and we in Punjab serve 80%, I believe, of all the wheat for the rest of the country.
Wow.
And so it really the country depends on us, and we also export wheat and rice as well. And so here's a beautiful picture of an elderly gentleman, cradling the wheat as if it's his child. And that's how connected farmers are with the earth. They value the earth, they respect the earth, they honor the earth. And that's why the recent farmers' protest that took place was really pivotal, because it just showed how committed farmers were in preserving their livelihood, but not just their livelihood, but their commitment to the land. So we wanted to historically give people the understanding of the Green Revolution, the farmers' protest, and allow people to understand the agricultural roots of our culture.
Beautiful.
I do have to
I love that concept, the breadbasket of India.
Right?
That's very special.
Yeah. We actually are thinking of doing a cuisine Zoom show for as our next exhibit at the India Heritage Museum. And we're thinking of doing a special show just on breads, because like dal, there are different types of breads and all sorts of, in all the different regions of the country. So we're excited about that.
Sign me up.
I do have to just share that some of these antique kitchenware are from my maternal grandmother from 1920. Wow. And they were made in her father's factory before she got married to my grandfather. So it's very moving for me to be able to display this along with our community's cherished artifacts here.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah. So we'll just keep moving along. We'll come back to this special place in just a second, but on the walls, you will see the fulgaris, which are the handicrafts that I mentioned earlier, the traditional folk embroidery. And we wanted people to get an appreciation of the different designs. And today we spoke about the Sikh faith, but this is our showcase on the three faiths of Punjab, Islam, Hinduism, and Sikhism. And for people who want to learn more about Sikhism, we have a more detailed display on the wall, also showing the Golden Temple, both during day and night.
And so if I'm looking at this chart correctly, it says Sikhism is about 50, well, round up, 58% of the Punjab region is identified as Sikh.
That's right.
Wow.
Exactly. Yep.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. So the rest of the country is mainly Hindu. But this one state is predominantly Sikh.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, did you ever play sports, by the way?
I did. I don't, not cricket, so don't get me started on that.
Okay. What did you play?
I was a soccer.
Very good.
Football.
So here we have a display of the traditional sports of Punjab, but also played in other areas of India. We have field hockey and we have cricket, and we have members of our community who, from their teams that, they won championships. Wow. Yeah. So one of the gentlemen who is going to be helping with tying the turban, he won with his team the national championship for Canada in 1969.
Do you remember him?
And here he is.
Right here. Where are you in this picture?
That's right. This is Harbhajan Puriwal.
Second standing person.
Wow.
That's me, the University of Birmingham in England, the lecture with my head covered.
Oh, I see you right there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there's
famous. We have a sports celebrity here with us.
We have two famous people here today. How lucky. So as you can tell, Senator Cooney, there's so much love in this exhibit. We want to share our love, and that's what we are as Punjabis. We have a generous, open heart. When people come into our homes, we want to offer them the best hospitality, the best food. And similarly, this exhibit reflects that generosity. We want people to come in and experience the love. Here we have a display of all the different festivals.
Oh, wow.
And we just finished celebrating Sant Jammi, and we have Holi coming up next month.
Yeah.
And have you ever been to a Holi festival?
No, I've only seen, obviously there's been a lot of the color sharing here in the States, but not an actual formal event.
I think we should create one here.
I'm for it.
We just need warmer weather.
Well, not today. Not today.
Here's a display of, in connection with the festivals, of some of the things that are used, the diyas to light for Diwali, the colors to throw for Holi. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And then this whole area back here is really focused on...
This is unbelievable.
Thank you. This is the typical Punjabi suit. This is the modern version with a churidar. The traditional version is a salwar, which is a long, baggy pants at the bottom. And but the long tunic on the top, the chunni or dupatta on the side. And this again reflects the color and the embellishments with embroidery and the bangles to go with it when you're going out for a party. Or you can wear it simple as cotton. So there's different ways. There's different forms of Punjabi clothing and of the Punjabi suit. We actually had a virtual session just a couple of weeks ago on it.
Oh, really?
So,
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Love the colors.
And as we wrap up towards the end of the exhibit, we've given people an idea of what a Punjabi wedding is like. What are some of the accessories that people can wear in the way of bangles? Typical Punjabi shoes, which are known as Punjabi jutti.
Is it just here?
Those are the jutti, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And those are only worn in weddings or?
No,
Okay.
they can be worn at any time. Just like the Punjabi suit can be casual in cotton, it can also be fancy, in silk. Same with Punjabi jutti. They can be simple or they can be fancy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What is this piece right here?
That's a brass purse.
A brass purse?
It is.
Okay, don't show it to my wife.
Does she like purses?
Yeah, she does.
Well, we all have our weaknesses. So here we have a display of musical instruments, and you have the tablas, the harmonium, the dolki. The tablas and the harmonium are often used for Punjabi songs, but also used for shabads that I spoke about earlier. And these are the hymns that we sing in the Gurdwara. And so we wanted to give people a sense of some of the musical instruments that we use.
That would be another good program, is around music specifically.
Yes.
Whether we do it at the ICC or we do it at other place, but I think people would love to hear that live music.
Right. And I think people would love just to be live.
Yes.
And alive.
We're all hoping to come back. I know.
And here, speaking of our last Zoom program is actually going to be on the folk dances of Punjab. And so here you have a typical Fulkari type chunni in the back. You have the dole, which is the drum that is used. We have the family of dancers. So the gentleman wearing a turban, the child and the woman, and Bhangra is the folk dance that is now performed by men and women. And Gidda is performed by women typically. And Gareth Nagra, who's going to be tying the turban on you, is one of our talented Bhangra teachers here locally. And he and Mehtab Malli will be doing a program on dances featuring performances from all across the state.
That's great.
Yeah.
When we have parades again and we have more public events, we'll have to bring your students out and bring our culture into mainstream events. Oh, that sounds great. Terrific.
So let's carry back down here. And did you have any questions or anything else that...
I think one of the things that you said...
Go ahead, Rohan.
One of the things that you said, Natasha, is that you could spend a very quick amount of time or you could spend a longer time reading so much of the exhibit's detail provisions. And so I would encourage you to come out. If you haven't already seen this exhibit, come down, bring your families, because there's a lot of work that has gone into this. I can tell. And you should be very proud of bringing this right into the heart of downtown Rochester.
Right. And that segues into our next segment.
Okay.
Here's our showcase of turbans.
Beautiful.
One is a turban with decorated with a kalgi for a Sikh groom, and another is the typical turban that is worn day to day. We have the articles of faith here that I spoke about.
The comb.
The comb, that's right. The ganga and the kara, which I am wearing. And again, we're just honoring the Sikh turban and helping educate the general community about the distinctiveness and the importance of the Sikh turban.
And I think part of your presentation was that if you see a man in a turban, 99% you were saying, you most likely to be Sikh.
Right.
And so it's a way to identify.
Yes. And so now we are very honored that you are going to experience that.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm very excited.
Here's Gareth Nagra. Like I said, he's a local
hello again. Good to see you.
Bhangra teacher and also a avid cricket player. Yes.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Yes, that's right.
So thank you for doing that.
No, glad to, we'll try to do it again this summer. I was actually sending a text message with a friend of mine down in New York City who grew up here. He's Indian. He grew up here in Henrietta, but he moved down to New York City. He said, "Are you doing that cricket tournament again? I'll come back and visit." You know,
that'll be a lot of fun.
we need to get another mound at Genesee Valley Park.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Build another.
Build another one.
Yeah, build another one, so that more people can play.
Right. Yep. So we got a lot of teams around. So
good.
So Syracuse, Albany. So
Well, and Albany won last year,
that's
so Rochester's got to come back. We're gonna come back this year.
their big massive.
That's what happened. That's what happened. Now we know. Now we know our ace in the hole.
Well, we have Harbhajan Boriwal, who you've already met.
Yes,
our
of course.
star field hockey player, who's also a senior member of our Punjabi community in the Gurdwara of Rochester. So I'll
Wonderful.
let them take you to the front for your turpentine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, we'll go this way.
This is exciting, guys.
All right.
Wow. Here we go. Good luck.
No, so this is what we're going to go through is like the day-to-day, what Punjabi person, doesn't have to be Sikh, it could be Hindu as well, whatever, or day-to-day, what we wear, on our heads to just cover that. And it is a process. I remember the first time I got into it was in my college times. I got my hair cut and everything. And I went to college in India, so I just saw that, okay, I want to be more part of this culture. And I remember going to my friends' dorms and, thank you. Just going to my friends' dorms and learning from them how they tie turbans. And it is a process. You have to wake up, like, say, a half hour earlier than you usually do. Make sure you're not late to classes and whatnot. So we'll go through
So
that.
you can't sleep in your turban and then roll off and go to classes in the morning?
That would be fantastic. You know what? That's a great idea. But, all right. So should we go with this? Sure, with 50? Yeah, so this is something we wear right underneath. So you see a little black cloth underneath. So this is also called a 50. So we wear that first just to collect the hair a little bit, get that in place, and then we wear the entire turban around. So what we'll do is we'll go through this pre-process step for the turban tying, which is called the boonie. So we're going to prepare it. We're going to have you sit down. We'll put the 50 on you, and then we'll go for the final step, which is the turban.
Sounds good.
All right. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you hold on to one of the corners of this cloth right here. Which you can. Right there.
Yes, of course.
And I'm going to go this way. I'll let you stand where you're at. So this is about 4 to 5 yards long.
Yeah, this is long.
Yeah. And the one I'm wearing is about 4.5 yards long turban. And you can see there's this, it's sewn right in the middle. So it's called a double. Instead of being a single cloth, it was cut in half and
I see.
put together. So I'm going to have you hold on to it tight.
Okay.
And you're gonna
just this one side.
That's one side. And I have the other side, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to have you use your right arm
Left hand.
to left hand, and try to get that in there a little bit, this side, right? And I'm going to do the same on this side.
Okay.
Try to get this part in first.
Okay.
Actually, why don't we switch? Why don't you take this side? Because that's the one's closer to you. It might be easier. Let's switch. And let's get that in. Try to get that tail in.
Oh.
Yep. Almost there.
There
All
you
right,
go.
there you go. Nice. So what you want to do is slowly roll that in.
Roll this side in.
Roll this side in. Brilliant. And we're going to do a quick little, thank you. We're going to do a quick little tug of war. This is a playful tug of war.
Okay,
over here.
all right.
Just to get this straight. And let's pull hard. That's great. And keep her like that. Keep the tension. I'm going to tie this side a little bit. And now the tension's there. We're going to take it like that. So now that first initial step is over right here. So we have this, and we're going to be able to tie it around your head once we get the
How do you do that if you're by yourself?
Oh, you actually tie it to a doorknob. That's how I do it.
The tricks of the trade here.
There you go. That's a good question, by the way.
This will keep the turban in
Place as well.
Okay.
and also
Matthew, you time lapsing?
it's not too tight, is it?
No. Fine.
Awesome. All right, great. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you hold on to this part with your
This side.
right.
Okay.
Yep, right there. Cool. Uncle, I'll have you hold on to the rest of this slack. And we try not to let the turban touch the ground either, just out of respect. Culture. And your hair is going to be, hopefully it'll stay in place.
Oh, it's
Sorry about
fine. It's fine.
All right. So this way. Here, Uncle, I'll take it. Thank you. And we try to cover our ears as well, so both ears are usually covered.
Oh, this is certainly warm for the winter.
That is true. Works out pretty nice that way.
So I keep my head straight. Is that helpful?
Yep, that'd be great. Yep. Checking on it. And this is the third layer. We call it lard.
Wow.
And Uncle, go ahead and unknot that. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Gonna remove this knot, final knot. So it's gonna be the fourth one coming up. And we'll have 5 lars in total. Huh. And final layer right here comes in. And we tuck everything in.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna find the first layer right there. Get that, and I'll let you actually
Let
let
go?
go of it.
Okay.
And we're gonna, so this is the tail. We're gonna let go of it, and I am going to pull on this out a little bit so we can cover the rest of your head.
Uh-huh.
And tuck it in on the other side, and tuck the tail back in.
I'm just so impressed that you can do this by yourself. I'm so impressed. I'd have to get up about 2 hours earlier than everyone else.
And here you are.
Wow.
Brilliant. And now you have a
So-
day-to-day informal corporate turban.
I do a little spin.
I become Jeremy Singh.
Jeremy Singh.
No, that's great.
Oh,
Great.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. This is great. I just am so impressed that you do this by yourself and you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a process. And once
It's
it amazes
but
me
you get
too.
used to it.
Yeah, and you get used to it. It's part of your daily routine. You get up and you head out always. It actually feels like, I used to have longer hair as well. It actually feels like everything is in place. It's also
It's true.
formal
It does feel
everything is in place. It's
not
formal
tight and
wear.
uncomfortable. Just
I do this for 6 months of not summer in the city.
Say that again.
I
Sorry.
said for 6 months of not summer in the city.
Right.
I said we subscribe.
I know, right? Yeah.
But, I mean, but if you're in India, I mean, it's been pretty warm,
It gets
right?
warm.
Very warm.
I
Saves you from the heat.
It saves you from
From
that.
the heat, yes. You don't get sunstroke. It's
Ah.
so hot.
Oh,
But it does
interesting.
take, I remember just going out there having it for 8 hours long. I mean, by the end of the day, it's usually like loose and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go home. Take this off, and
Right.
then, you go about your ways. But yeah, it's definitely a
Wow.
process.
You look absolutely.
Well,
amazing.
thank you. I'm excited to.
And,
to,
we're getting towards the end of the
okay.
program, so we would love to hear any other additional thoughts.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Why don't we all kind of come around here? Let's move that chair. Matthew's gonna hand this to me here. I'll take this. Actually, I'm good at this. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me here today, not only for the turpentine, but also for this introduction and really, I would say, cultural connection to the Punjab region. And I can tell, I think most of the folks here know that while I was born in Calcutta, I was raised here in Rochester. And so for me, strengthening my own personal relationship to India and to our collective community and culture, groups of cultures, is very important to me as I grow as a man and hopefully pass this on to my family as well. So thank you for bringing this education, the artifacts from your own family, our sports all-stars, our dance instructors, and also athletes and cricket stars to be for next year. I mean, this is who we are as a community. And I feel very, very honored as the first Indian, as the first Asian ever elected to state office outside of New York City here, and to be part of, I'll say, our community. You use the word hospitality, and the concept of Punjab as the breadbasket of India. And that also says hospitality, welcoming, nurturing to me. And that's how I feel here. And that's how I believe your community, our community, embraces each other in Rochester, the greater Rochester region. So the fact that you're involving our young, bright stars to be and bringing in our own stories and families is really special. And thank you for helping tie this beautiful turban on my head. I don't ever want to take it off, so I'm going to run out the door before you can take it. But before I do that, I would be remiss if I didn't come prepared. And this is only a temporary certificate because our real proclamation is in Albany, and we'll deliver it to you. Don't worry, you know where to find me. But let me read this, if I can, not the whole thing, but this is a proclamation from the state of New York, and specifically New York State Senate. And it does say, and I'll read this portion of it, it's titled, Proclamation from the New York State Senate honoring the exhibit Punjab, Land of Five Rivers, presented to and by the India Heritage Museum of the Vinod and Vinay Luthra India Heritage Center and the Central Library of Rochester and Monroe County for their generous contribution to the community and our citizenry. And let me just go down a little bit and say this. Whereas this exhibit, Punjab, Land of Five Rivers, encourages community appreciation of the contributions of Punjabi Americans that they make to the renewal of the human spirit and reminds us that we are stronger when we embrace the cultural richness and diverse heritage of all Americans and all New Yorkers so that we can live together in harmony. Now there be proclaimed that I, New York State Senator Jeremy Cooney, honor this exhibit and all of the individuals here who have made this so possible for your service to the people of New York, and be it proclaimed further that a copy of this proclamation will be transmitted to the India Heritage Museum of the Luthra Center and the library when it arrives from Albany. So congratulations, and thank you so much for all that you've done for the people of New York.
Thank you so much, Senator.
You're
Cooney.
so
We're
welcome.
so grateful to you
It's
for
for
your
you.
very, very kind words. And we have a small offering of gratitude for you as well,
Oh.
actually.
That's very kind. Thank you. Congratulations.
Nice of you to come.
Absolutely.
Great to meet you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Likewise. Oh my goodness.
So,
Wow.
On behalf of
This is
the
beautiful.
India Heritage Museum,
Beautiful.
of the Luthra India Heritage Center, on behalf of the Punjabi community of Rochester and the Sikh community of Rochester, and the Central Library of Rochester and Monroe County, this is a small offering of gratitude
Oh,
of
thank
the
you.
Golden Temple, which
Isn't that
is
beautiful?
one of the
Wow.
most visited sites in India and, of course, in Punjab, and is our most revered spiritual site for Sikhs. And this is, again, a show of thanks and gratitude
Oh,
for
thank
the
you.
sense of community that you have brought with you today to the library. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to make a promise to you right here. This is beautiful. I'm going to put this in my office, in my Senate office. And that way, when we have visitors come in from all over New York State, we'll be able to proudly tell this story and all of your contributions to us right here in Monroe County. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Wow, that's just beautiful. What a beautiful building.
I think is Radhika, are we all set there? So I think would Radhika like to come out? Okay. I just want to also thank Rohan and Radhika. We are
Wonderful
committed to nurturing our youth. And so Radhika has been behind the scenes, and I thought she should come out here.
She's doing a great job.
Yeah, and I know I'm kind of changing the program, but maybe you want to wrap
thank
up
you.
the exhibit or wrap up the program here, Radhika, for us.
Thank you so much for joining us. A big thank you to Senator Cooney and his team for coming to the Rochester Public Library.
Just hold that in your hand.
Thank you very much for joining us. It is our honor to have you. We hope you enjoyed our program, our presentation by Dr. Natasha Sodhi and turban tying ceremony.
What do you think? Does it
It looks great.
Okay, good. Okay. Radhika said it's good.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.